Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone. So, in this video, we are going to learn for chapter 1 in this subject, which is object-oriented programming. Chapter 1 will cover about introduction to OOP. So, first of all, let's look at the chapter overview. Basically, there are 3 important points that you need to know in this chapter. First is the introduction to object. Second, what are the elements of an object? Third, the characteristics of object-oriented programming. Okay, so first of all, we need to know what is an object. So everyone should know that every object has attribute, also known as state, behavior, and also identity. Okay, but we need to focus on 2 things, which are attribute and also the behavior. So let's look at one by one. What are the details of these characteristics? Okay, first of all, the attribute or state. All of the properties of the object is called as attribute. For example, an object car has a state or attribute such as name, color, or price. And then an object also must have a behavior that acts and reacts. For example, a car has behavior such as applying brakes, speeding, and changing gear. Okay, then we look at number 3, which is called as identity. It is actually a property of an object which will distinguishes it from all other objects, which means if we have more than one car, how we want to differentiate between the cars, we need to look at the identity. For example, a car with spot ring, a car with a different color, a car which has a pattern or any special properties that owned by that car. Okay, so here you can look at another example of an object which is called student. Student must have attributes and also the behavior. Okay, so student has name and gender attributes. If you want to explain in details about attributes, you can include a state. For example, gender, what kind of the gender of that student, either male or female. So you can explain it by using state. The student, what are the example of behaviors of the student? Student can learn and student also can sleep. Okay, so now we move on to a term that called as a class. What is meant by a class? Actually, a class is a template that describes what object can or cannot do. Actually, a class is the type of foreign object. A class actually is a blueprint that defines the data or the attribute and the methods of behavior common to all objects of a certain kind. So, an object is called an instance of a class. Okay, look at the example. Class name is called as vehicle. The object of the vehicle is called a cars or MPVs or bicycle. Cars, MPVs, and bicycle actually in a category of a vehicle. Okay. Okay, so let's look at another example, the difference between class and object. So in this case, we have student assigned as a class. Okay, student has its attributes and also behaviors, and then the object actually is the detail of the student. So in this example, we can see there are three different kinds of students, which divided into John, Sophia, and also Lily. Each of these students has different attributes and also behaviors, but they are all together is categorized as a student class. Okay, let's look at another example of class versus object. So in this case, we have a class of student which has a common attributes name and roll number, and also the behavior which we have set name here and set roll numbers. Okay, all these students, Jenna, John, Maria, and James, is represented as an object. Why are represented as an object? Because they has their own values of attribute and also the behavior. Okay, so another example of object. So we look at the cylinder first. An object, you must remember, must have a data members, also known as attribute, and also a functions, which also known as behaviors. Okay, so an object in this case is a car. So the data members of a car we can describe as model, year of manufacturing, and also a color. And the functions or behaviors of a car, it can start, move, or even stop. So in this example, so another attributes for cars, okay, when does the car is made, what is the model of the car, the color, the year, and also the price. And then you also can describe the behaviors of the car such as start, drive, and park. Okay, so finish on object. Now we want to look at the characteristics of object-oriented programming. Okay, basically there are four kinds of OOP characteristics. The first one is called as abstraction. So what is meant by abstraction? Abstraction will focus on essential attributes of an object, which is the basic or the general or the fundamental attribute of an object. A program has the ability to ignore the details of objects class, which means if you implement abstraction in writing the object-oriented programming, so your program will has the ability to ignore the details of the object class. You just only consider the essential attributes of an object. So abstraction work at a more generic level. Okay, only entity with most significant attributes are included. Okay, let's look at the example. A car dealer views a car from the standpoint of the selling features, relevant attributes such as price, colors, and accessories. A car dealer doesn't want to views from a different views of a car. Let's say how the engine is being manufactured, how the engine is being put it inside the body. The car dealer doesn't want to know that. Okay, it's only want to know from its point of views. Okay. Okay, so let's look at another example. So we have two examples here and two objects, cat and also a car. Different person will view different will have a different stand of view. Okay, such as a cat between two women. One woman will look at the cat. Oh, the cat is soft, can be cuddled. Okay, can use as a company to her. And another person, another woman, which is a veterinary surgeon, uh, look at the cat in a different way of view. Okay, so look the cat by the skeleton, the body parts of the cat, and many more. Okay, and then we have another one case here, which is car. Two different person view the car in a two different views. One look at the car, whereby, oh, it can use the car to visit his parents, maybe. Okay, it can use the car to go anywhere. And then another person, which is automobile engineering, view the cars in her point of view, such as how fast the car can be drive, or how the car is going to move, and how does the car is functioning. Okay, all right. So second characteristics of OOP is called as encapsulation. So this concept actually hides the details of the implementation of an object. It doesn't want to show how the program is being operated, but it shows only the function of the program. What is the function? What is the benefit of the program? Okay, OOP encapsulates attributes and behaviors into packages called object. Object can be changed without affecting other parts of the system. For example, a car stereo encapsulates or wraps all the attributes and behaviors that enable the car driver to play tapes, select radio station. Means what? The ability of encapsulation concept, it hides the attributes and the behavior of the car stereo on how it's being operated when the user wants to play the tapes or select the radio station. The user only know how to on and off the car stereo. Okay, so it's an example. Where is the abstraction and encapsulation is placed in the mobile phone. And then in this concept, as you can see, abstraction is the most in front level, whereby we know that, okay, when you implement abstraction, you just want to know what is the function of the phone only. You don't want to know how does the phone is being operated. And encapsulation is at the second level of the mobile phone, whereby it hides the attributes or the properties and the behavior of the mobile phone. Okay, so we just show what are the function offered by the mobile phone. So in this example, okay, we have one capsule here. Inside the capsule, actually, you imagine the capsule is a class, and then inside the capsule contains a method and also the variables of the class. So it encapsulates all the benefits of the capsule, which contains vitamins or any minerals that can help patient to increase their health when they take this medication, something like that. Okay. Okay. So the third characteristics of OOP is called inheritance. So inheritance, when implement inheritance in our programming code, so it will provide the reusability. We will save the time and code. Why? If we want to reuse back the code that we have written before in the same situation to solve the same problem, so we have reduced the time and also the cost. Okay, and then when you implement inheritance, actually you need to define a new class from the existing class. So the new class is called as subclass and the existing class is called as superclass. Okay, so by doing extension or extending the class by adding methods, new properties or attributes in the class that you want to create. Okay, and then subclass inherits from the superclass. Means what? You can reuse the code that you have written in the superclass, then you can re-implement it in your new subclass. For example, here we have a subclass or old code or old program named as vehicle. and then you want to create a new class named car, truck, or lorry, you just can simply import whatsoever attributes and also the behavior from the vehicle into your new class. So that one we call as inheritance. So this is example, okay, from the left. So we can look at the concept of inheritance. We have one original or old class named animal or called as superclass. Animal will provide a very general attribute and also the behaviors. So when you create a new class, for example, giraffe or elephant or lion, so you can simply import or reuse the code that you have written in the animal class. Okay, so inheritance provide reusability of the code. So same goes with this case, which is between parents and also a child. Parent is an old class. Okay, so you want to create a new class child, then you can use whatsoever attributes or behaviors from the parents in the new class name child. Okay, all right. So the last one, the last characteristics of OP is also known as polymorphism. So actually, this concept of polymorphism is the ability for the objects of different classes related by inheritance to respond differently to the same method called. Means what? When you call one method or behavior, actually that method can represent different kinds of values. Okay, different kinds of uh, activities. Okay, so a polymorphic program is a program that allows a single variable, one variable that can refer to objects from different classes. No need to declare more than one variables if you want to refer to different classes. So you just use only one variable to refer to many different classes or program. Okay, for example, we have one behavior here named speak. So as we know, different animals we have different kind of language or the way they want to speak. So we have cat, dog, and duck with different kinds of speaking language, something like that. So we can just declare only one variable, let's say animal, but that animal can refer to different object or classes. Okay, and then that variable can hold the value of different language such as meow, woof, and quack. Okay, no need to declare more than one variable. Right? Okay, other example, we have one boy here. We declare only one variable, that one variable can refer to the boy in the shopping mall. It will behave like customer, and then that variable also when we refer to the boy or in the bus, it will behave like passengers or behave like student and a son in a different situation or different places. Okay, so same goes like here, a person can hold a different value in a different places or different situations. So that one we call as polymorphism. One variable can refer to many different situations. Okay, so last one, we look at the benefits of object-oriented programming. So basically, there are three main benefits here. First is productivity, quality, and flexibility. So when you implement OOP, compared to structured programming, actually, your work become productive, more quality, and more flexible. Okay, and then you also can reuse your code back instead of structured programming. If you write structured program. So that program actually is specific for certain problem only. However, when you implement object-oriented programming, that code actually can be reused again and again and can be inherited if we have similar or same kind of problems to be solved. Okay, and then third one is the code that you have written actually is easy to be modified and changed. Because of what? The objects or code that you have written are self-contained unit that can be changed or replaced without interfering with the rest of the system. You can even change only a certain part of the program. Okay, so last one, another benefits of OOP. Okay, instead of reusability, simplicity, extensibility, we also can be easily maintained. Okay, and then all these we are get from the 4 characteristics of the object-oriented, which are abstraction, encapsulation, polymorphism, and inheritance. All right, so that's all for this chapter. And then I want all of you to try to create your own object and define the attributes and the behavior of the object that you have defined. Okay, that's all for this chapter. Thank you.